Good morning, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuits, and I have an idea for a mob I want to make for my swamp here, for the Mire of Misery. So I have this Dollar Tree fella here, Aquaman, as our Canadian brothers would say, and I'm going to put his head on this turtle. Yeah, I know, I ain't right. So what I want to do is, first I want to remove this turtle's head, nice and smooth. Then I want to steal Aquaman's head in a similar manner. And then I want to snip off the back of Aquaman's head, flat. And I want to mount it to this turtle in such a way that it's disturbing and weird. So to do that, I literally had a pen vise out. Did I put it away? I did. I'm going to drill a little bit of hole here. I'm going to drill a little bit of a hole into the back of his head. Kind of where that lines up. And I usually don't pin things, but I'm having some trouble with my glue. I think it's because it's like 11 degrees in here. I can see my breath. All right. So I'm going to get a little piece of something to stick in there. I'm going to snip some of that off. I'm going to stick that head on there. Oh, that's dumb looking. I love it. Okay. I'm going to pull that off. Bring in a little super glue. Oops. In that hole and around it. We're going to put that head back on. Whoops. We're going to try not to lose it in the process. Okay. And once you get it where you want it, you're going to sprinkle a little baking soda down in there. To make sure everything's solid. And then I want the bottom of his head not to be this horrible flat spot, so I'm going to get some super glue, make a puddle there, dump some baking soda on that. I'm going to hit that again. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. It's pretty dumb looking, and that's what I wanted. Now, I think I'm going to call this thing the Whiss, and I have a little bit of an idea of lore for it. So, long ago, when this swamp had a witch in it before, and they were draining it, this was a man who had fallen in love with her, and instead of becoming an Nagili, he tried to save his soul at the last minute and go against the witch. And what ended up happening was the witch didn't like that. So she cursed him. Oh, he is too big for that. Let's see what I got. I got stuff upstairs. I don't have anything down here the right size, do I? We're going to make that work. She found a way to curse him anyways, and instead of becoming a Nagili, he became the Whiss. And there's only one Whiss. He's not like a Nagili where there could be multiple of them that, you know, have fallen to her charms and lost their souls for stupid decision making. No, there's just one Whiss. And his deal is this. There were no witches for a long period of time when he roamed the swamp. Or not the swamp, but the forests, parched and uncomfortable and unable to speak. And now that water has returned, he can once again speak and interact. A new witch has come, or maybe it's the same witch has returned. And he will, if the party is kind to him, and any of them can speak the fair folk's tongue, Sylvan, because he can no longer remember how to speak English or common, he will help them transport through dangerous areas of the swamp, letting medium and small characters that can ride on his back, and things like that. But he's very ancient and very old. And he didn't want to be the Whiss. I better write that down or I'm going to forget the name of it. On something. Whiss. So, the party can befriend him. No ridiculously high lore roll of any kind, no knowledge of any kind, unless it's a natural 20 or they do some research, will yield any information about the Whiss. And even research would require ridiculously high luck to accomplish, okay? Because the Whiss is a one-of-a-kind creature who for maybe 1,000 years has just been roaming around in the forest, and much of that time unable to communicate, besides with some telepathic fake creatures. Can't get enough glue on there that way. We'll let him sit here for a minute and get kind of acclimatized to his new home. Let's see if a little baking soda will help. With the way things have been going today, it won't, but we can try it. Now, I think I'd like my Whiss to have a tail. This turtle did not have a tail, so let's find something we can't put on there and make a tail with. All right, that's sturdy. That's his new permanent home. We'll set this off to the side. We could use this, one of these pieces left over from this, to be his tail. Let's do that. I'm just snipping that off at kind of a back angle where I can get it under that shell and it not be too crazy looking. Hold on, we got a spider web we got to deal with real quick. There we go. Get rid of that spider web. Get some glue back here under his butt. Get good solid. And there's our horrible Whiss. I hate him already. So he's going to be obnoxious, and he's going to have a lot of questions. He's been away from the world for a while. He's going to have a lot of knowledge about witches. specifically the witch that he dealt with, but witches in general too, because some witches similarities will show. I'm going to hit him with some clear coat, and then we're just going to base coat him with paint. So yeah, he's going to do things, and you're going to run him in such a manner that the party thinks he is untrustworthy. But he is actually testing them and untrustworthy of them. Also, if your party needs healing out of combat, or they catch anything in the swamp, they can put it in the Whiss's mouth. Or, I'm sorry, they can put it in the Whiss's mouth. The Whiss will give them directions on what things they can gather in the swamp. And if they place those ingredients in his mouth, he has a supernatural ability to chew them up and spit them out as salves. Salves, I'm not sure how you say it. That'll heal you and remove condition problems and whatever else. Like, it will work like restoration and cure like wounds and stuff in your basic systems. It's just an idea I have. And if you don't like that, you don't have to do that. It's just an idea that I have, so you're not obligated to be stuck with that. Really wish I knew what happened to my good dark green paint. I nursed my dark green. I think one of my kids stole it. That's the only explanation I have. What's this? Angel green. This is dark. I wanted to use, I don't know what it's called. Some green that I have that I like a lot, but not an option. So let's get this Whiss painted up. And we're just going to use a crappy brush, as per the usual, to get this dude coated out in dark green. We're going to do all of them in dark green first, okay? La, 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 la. La, 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 la. I'm gonna be dark green when I grow up. Dark green when I grow up. Dark green when I grow up, dude. Oh man, it is not getting underneath there well. And it's not sticking to his face well. I don't know if I got not enough stuff on there or what. We'll figure it out. We'll sort it out in a minute. Don't you worry your ugly little heads. We'll get it all greened up in no time. We just might have to do 2 coats, that's all. As much as I hate that, it happens. All right, we'll put that brush in water and we'll dry him off and do another coat. And I think that'll be good enough for what we need here. I hope. Okay. All right, so the Whiss is naturally untrusting or distrusting because he once trusted a woman, a beautiful woman, who manipulated him into essentially starting to transform into a monster. So he is slow to give his trust to people, and he really, really, really is careful. If you're going to run this thing for an extended period of time, start thinking about what kind of character traits you want him to have to reflect that he's untrustworthy. Maybe he's always looking around like something is after him. Maybe he's paranoid. Or maybe when the party speaks, he takes a long time to answer, and he looks around the environment, and he looks at the trees and the swamp and the brush and the different things that he encounter, that are in his environment. He takes time and looks at everything and then answers. Because one, he is wise, and he's not just going to spit things out. And two, he has to decide what he does and does not want to tell your party. And that's an endeavor to figure that out. That's going to be tough for him because he has been burned hard, and he's stuck as the Whiss now. He doesn't remember his normal name, and if the party were to go research him in a place that had the resources and had enough, local lore kind of stuff around, they might find his real name. But he's just been known as the Whiss for so long. That's what the Fae that speak to him telepathically call him. Some pixies and fairies and nymphs and stuff that kind of like him, they call him that. But in general, he doesn't know who he is. Now, with this here, you don't want to really hit the shell too much. You just want to kind of hit the not shell parts as much as you can and lighten it up. You want to leave the shell kind of green, dark green. And we're going to come back over that with a wash. So if you make any mistakes, we can do some touch-up work on that, no problem. You know me, I will make mistakes. I will lighten things up. I'm just coming around and hitting the edge of that shell, the outer edge there, lightening that up. And then I'm just going to hit him one more time with this and make sure I got the spots I need to get. Okay. Now you could hit some of this top part here, I guess, and lighten that up a little bit, but you don't want to do that too much. I'm pretty happy with the way he looks. I do want to get him a little lighter here, though, I think. Around the face. And maybe the fronts of his legs. We'll hit that tail. I'll get in this little crack here a little bit and lighten that up some too. Okay. All right, so we need to let's dry this off with a hot air gun. And let's work on his eyes before we do the shell. So I have a color here called demonic yellow, or demonic yellow. If you're British, it's probably demonic. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not a linguist, dude. I'm a dude in my basement making minis. If I was a linguist, would I be here making minis? Yeah, probably. Okay. I'm going to come back with a little bit of red. Oh, too much red. Ah, you bastard. something like that. I'm cleaning out that brush with my mouth. And let's get a wash going. So I wanted to do kind of a brown wash and then put some flock on him. A brownish green wash. Let me get a little thing. I want to, in case I want to save some. I'm going to put it in a little tub. So I have some water here. And it's just my dirty paint water. Let me pour a little bit in there, just a little bit. Okay. I don't want a whole bunch of this, but I want some. And I'm going to pour that green in there like that. And I'm going to get a little bit of a brown. And this brown is a burnt umber. It's just a dark brown. I'm just going to steal a little bit of that. Put that in there too. And I think I'm going to put a tiny dab of pavement in there to make it a little less saturated. Okay, now my rinse water already has a little bit of soap in it, a little bit of Dawn dish detergent in it, and that's good for washes. That really, really is. So I'm just going to kind of clean this up, wipe the outside of this off a little bit. There we go. Then I'm going to put my lid on and I'm going to shake it up. And it's going to be foamy because there is soap in there. Okay, and let's see if that's dark enough for what I wanted. It is a little light, so I'm just going to get the tiniest bit of black. I'm going to darken that up. You got to be very careful using black to darken up a wash too, by the way. You don't want to go overboard. All right. That looks like it should have done the trick. Yeah. That's kind of what I wanted. All right. We're going to put that wash on this outer coat here. I'm going to put a little bit on my cardboard first. You know what? I think I'd be better off using a like a dark wash on that, really. I say that, but I could be wrong. Let's wipe that off. Let's dab that all off. Let's see what we can do with it. Okay. All right, so I have some options. I have some cool speed paint colors we could use, like Absolution Green or Orc Skin, or we could use a strong tone or a dark tone. Let's see. I'm feeling like Absolution Green could be worth a try. Let's try it. Let me get my brush. And this is mostly cleaned off. Let me get some Absolution Green here. You don't want to use this on cardboard. Use this on tape or a piece of foam or plastic or something. You really don't want to be using this on cardboard. It dries out too quick. It absorbs in. You don't want that. This is probably too much, too dark. This is not what I wanted. Should have stuck with what I was doing. What I was doing was working. I was just worried I was going to have to do 2 coats, and I got lazy. But by the time you wipe it off and do this, you might as well have done the 2 coats, you know? Now, if you wanted to lighten up this outer coating some, you could. And to do that, all you really need is put your Absolution Green away. And you just get your, something with, now, you don't want any like, can't think of the word I'm looking for. You don't want anything with like lotion or anything in it, you know. Just dab around where you want to remove it, something like that. And it does make a difference right off the bat, immediately lighter for sure. And it's still staying that paint kind of dark. Let's start working on that base though. So for the base, I'm just going to get the same brush I was just using. And I'm going to get a dark blue. It's called Mountain Blue if I can find it. There we go. The only reason I'm using this Mountain Blue is it's kind of been thematically what I've been using through this swamp. And it's real watered down and it spreads easy and I don't have to play with it. So we're just going to get down here and paint this base. And since we didn't paint this base as part of the base coat, which was a mistake by all means, I promise you that, we're going to come in here and we're going to really saturate that and try to get some good coverage. Now, what's nice about the Whiss is you can use him again in other campaigns. You can always have some wise dude in some environment that's had drama with a witch. I mean, that's always something useful for storytelling or to divulge secrets to your characters and stuff. So if you're like, oh man, I don't want to build a Whiss because I'm never going to use one again, you definitely can. You definitely can use one again. Don't you worry your ugly little head. Right, so that is way lighter without an undercoat on there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a darker blue. This is called Admiral Blue. And I'm going to get some water. And some of that Admiral Blue. Let's do a little bit of that speed paint, throw it in there too. Darken this up. And then I'm going to kind of in spots just hit around and create a little bit of an interesting variation in my water. That's all I'm doing. Okay. Then I'm going to get a little bit of this green up here and a little bit of water. I'm going to mix some of that around in there too. Because it's a swamp. We don't want it to look too perfect. Check me out. I'm just going to use the rest of this up right here. Something like that. I might hit a couple little more spots with it. Let's dress this base up a teeny bit. Okay. Alright, so I wanted to get, let's dry him off with a hot air gun. What I wanted to do, I'm going to save this. I wanted a color like that for something else I'm doing. So let's take the Whiss and dry him off. And I want to put some flock on him. And a vine or two. So for the flock, we're just going to get clear glue, which I have right here from earlier. My brush away. Not use my good brush for that. Use a crappy brush for this. Something garbagey. I don't even know what this brush is. It has no name on it. So that's the brush we wanted. Then I'm just going to make it kind of like a dry brush across the shell in some spots. I say a dry brush, just, you know, a light coat here and there. And where you want that to stick. I'm going to use this dark green flock that I use for like pretty much everything these days. Okay. Then I'm going to get a vine on them too. And for the vine, I'm just going to use some of that floral moss that I use for like everything else. So I'm going to find a piece that's chunky. I'm going to snip off this part. I'm going to drag that across his back. I'm going to stick this in glue first, so it holds it in place. Okay. Then I am going to get a tiny bit of super glue on there, just to make sure it doesn't move. Okay. It would be nice to have a little piece hanging off his face too. Oops. Like he's constantly got some coming out of the corner of his mouth. Like he's chewing cud. Okay, let's wipe that off. Get that on there. And we're going to get a tiny dab of super glue to get that mounted in place permanently. All right, cool. I think this is going to work out good. So remember, the Whiss is annoying. He's untrusting. He's not your friend. When he's dry, I'm going to clear coat him and take him upstairs, and we're going to talk about the Whiss, because I really like this guy. He's ugly and dumb, and just exactly what you want for a party not to trust, but they need him. He's that perfect kind of guy for that. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment if you could. Go to the website, buy some minis. Not these minis, real high quality, beautiful Dungeon Swag minis. If you can't, that's fine too, no judgment. The Whiss doesn't care, and neither do I. Also, come to the Discord, hang out with us. Video games, RPGs, show us what you're working on. Share your art. We'd love to see it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.